Yup, what's happening? Happy Friday. Hope you're good. So, today's show, we're going to be talking about understanding what growth is. Because I think that for a lot of guys, growth has to be something huge. It has to be something big for it to be classed as growth. And I just want to share a couple of insights, some experience, and some perspective on really what growth is, because hopefully the outcome will allow you to understand that actually you might be doing quite better than you think. That wasn't English. Let's start again. That you might be doing better than you think. And when you do better than you think, you show up different. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Boardman. And if you are coming through the show, please do comment down here what your favourite film is. What's your favourite film? And also share this with someone that might need this right now. Tag them in it. Say, dude, you should be watching this guy. This is something you need right now. Alright, so like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about what is growth. Okay, let's get some perspective on growth, so that we stop feeling sorry for ourselves every time that we think we're not winning. So what was quite interesting is that growth for me in the military was about micro growth. Okay, I never really understood this until like probably now when I look back and I reflect on those military days. So I'll give you an example. If we went out into the field, and the field would be pretty much, you probably thinking it's a camping trip, but us going into the local common and doing a military exercise, and we'd learn to administrate ourselves in the field. So there would be lots of like little checkpoints, right? Lots of little checkpoints to make sure you maintain yourself, because if you didn't, you get hammered by the training team. Okay, you get beasted. So it'd be a case of administrating yourself, cleaning your weapon, making sure you're feeding yourself, making sure you're putting up your poncho, making sure you've put out your security. Well, lots of little different stuff. And what would end up happening, there would be like every other week there would almost be a field exercise, okay? Because that's what we're training to do, right? We're training to be in the field, we're training to be soldiers. And what we would see is all of those micro little wins that we would have during the field slowly getting better, more efficient as we went along through the weeks, right? And we would get better and better and better. We would naturally grow in our skills and drills. And then we would end up getting to the point where we were so proficient with it, it was non-negotiable. Bang, fluent. And that all came from learning. Learning came from failing. Now, one of the biggest things that I've come to learn about men is that they don't want to fail. And they don't want to fail because they have this huge fucking ego that they don't want to dent. Okay? And they don't want to look like, oh, I keep losing all the time, I keep failing. It's going to affect my masculinity. Okay? Which is, as you know as well as I do, is bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit. So growth gets restricted because of that ego. So if you think about the ego being the padlock, the ego locks down your capabilities, your potential to reach your very best self. It reduces your potential to be a high performer. It reduces your potential to break out of the shit mentality and routine that you might find yourself in. So growth comes from failing. It comes from that experience. It comes from learning from that experience and gaining wisdom. And that's what we were doing in the military. That's what we were doing in those fields, right? We had our ego stripped from us, basically. you put on the line and you try different stuff and you try and perform and you try and show up and you try to overcome everything, and then before you know it, you're learning, you're growing. Man, look at how quickly I can reassemble my rifle. Man, look how quickly I can administrate myself. Man, look how quickly I can do contact drills when we get shot. Boom, boom, boom. Learning. So for you guys, every single day, okay, the whole art of failing is growth. So if you're trying a morning routine and you try one morning routine one week, but then you try something the next week and the second week isn't as successful as the first, that's growth. It's not a failure. If you're if you're ill and you've got the flu or you've got COVID or you've got chlamydia or gonorrhea or something like that one week, and then the following week you bounce back, because you didn't show up because you weren't well, doesn't mean you were a failure. You grew because you went, right, I'm feeling better, let's get back to work. Okay, the failure and the loss and zero growth would have been, right, I've had chlamydia all week, I can't crack on. Okay, I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up this journey. Okay? Growth is sustaining a routine. It's maintaining it. It's understanding it. It's understanding that you can feel the distractions going on. It's showing up. It's all about those micro elements of wins. The things that you don't think are growth are growth. They are the growth. The bad decisions, that's growth. The distractions, learning about them, that's growth. It's not growth if you keep doing the same thing and being a dickhead about it. Fucking going round in circles, right? That's not growth. But if you make a bad decision and you learn from that bad decision, then that is growth. Believe it or not, through my divorce 12 years ago, something like that, I grew as a human being because it made me a better man. It taught me how to respect relationships better. It taught me how to respect people better. It taught me not to be a selfish prick. Okay, going through my tough time when I left the military, even though I was rock bottom, even though I was on the verge on one night of taking my own life, I grew because I understood myself better. I understood what I wanted out of life better. So even sometimes in your darkest days, in the days that you suffer the most, the days that you go through those pains, the days you put your hands in your head, the days you lose money in your business or your career, the day you get made redundant, you're still growing as long as you show the fuck up. And that is the crux of it. That's the foundations. Because it doesn't matter what the fuck is going on with your life. It doesn't matter if you're getting made redundant, if someone's like leaving you. If you show up and you keep changing and you keep evolving and you keep thriving for a better life, better skills, better abilities, understanding yourself by showing up, you'll grow. Okay, obviously it's shit that if you go through a divorce. Obviously it's shit if you get made redundant. But that's where the character is defined. That's a growth mentality, right? It's showing up. Look at that runner behind looking. Don't look at us. That's a growth mentality. The ability to show the fuck up, learn from the mistakes, and keep moving forwards. Keep moving forwards. As my ma would say, forwards ever forward. Forwards with purpose. Okay? And that's how you grow. So I want you to stop consuming yourself. And I do it. Like, it's not like you guys are doing it and I'm not. I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? I'm fucking going through this as well. And I'm having to have the conversation with myself. I'm having to reflect. I'm having to review. I'm having to say, Boardman, what are you doing? Why are you thinking like that? So, you know, I have sometimes fallen into a pity party, but I then snap myself back out of it. It's life, right? It's growth. Snapping out of it. Snapping out of it. Do you know what I mean, guys? So I'm going to leave it on that. Listen, I hope you have an incredible weekend. Enjoy it with family and friends and the sun. I'd love for you to tell me what you thought of the show this morning, directly down here. I'd love your thoughts and interpretations on it. I know that maybe only 2 of you would do it. Just prove me wrong.